After giving a dreadful campaign address, Trump lost 2 million supporters in 2 days. Donald Trump, a rival candidate for president, compared illegal immigrants to snakes and blamed them for damaging the U.S., using language previously condemned for echoing Nazi terminology. If Trump is elected to a second 4-year term in office, he will prioritize immigration law enforcement for both restricted and lawful immigration. The leader of the Conservative Party stated that an unprecedented quantity of undocumented migrants were attempting to enter the United States illegally, in addition to those entering from South America, Asia, and Africa. This news will brighten your day, so please watch through to the finish. Please take a few moments to click the subscribe button below and enable the notification bell so that you can receive our most recent information before we go forward. They are damaging our nation's blood. Trump said this to thousands of supporters during a New Hampshire rally. They are engulfing our nation from all around the world. Additionally, he sang the lyrics to a song he had previously used to compare outsiders to deadly snakes. In the unlikely event that Trump is re-elected, he pledged to halt the assault on our southern border and launch the biggest domestic extradition effort in American history. During a discussion with the right-leaning website, The National Pulse, which was published in late September, Trump employed the same rhetoric about causing harm. The phrase was deemed offensive, racist, and xenophobic by Jonathan Greenblatt, the leader of the Anti-Defamation League, in response to the outrage it caused. The author of a book on tyranny and Yale professor Jason Stanley warned of the dangers of Trump's careless use of such terminology. He claimed that Trump's remarks were reminiscent of Nazi leader Adolf Hitler's political manifesto, Mein Kampf, which forbade Jews from contaminating German blood. Stanley claimed that he is now repeating harmful talk in assemblies using this vocabulary, which normalizes it and the behaviors it suggests. This discussion is quite alarming for the welfare of immigrants in the United States. In October, Stephen Chung, a spokesman for the Trump campaign, claimed that the previous president's language, which was widely used in television shows, novels, and news articles, should not be criticized. In response to a question on Saturday, Chung raised issues about how U.S. colleges are handling student protests following the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7 rather than directly addressing Trump's remarks. He claimed that pro-Hamas and dangerously anti-Semitic language has found a home in the media and academics, which is unsettling and dangerous. As the frontrunner for the Republican Party's 2024 presidential candidacy, Trump has made border security a major campaign issue. He pledges to bring back the strict measures from his administrations in 2017 and 2021, and put into effect fresh ones that tighten the screws on immigration. Despite facing challenges such as record-high rates of unemployment and other perceived liabilities for his re-election campaign, President Joe Biden, the expected Democratic Party nominee, has made efforts to implement more humane and organized immigration laws. The projected Democratic nominee for president in 2024, Joe Biden, wants to enact more benevolent and organized immigration laws. This strategy contrasts sharply with Trump's intransigent position. The growing number of migrants at the border hampers Biden's plan, providing Trump with an opportunity to disparage Biden's leadership and strengthen his own narrative during the campaign. The use of confrontational language in political discussions. Immigration, in particular, has always been a divisive topic. Trump's recent remarks have fueled this ongoing argument, raising concerns about the influence prominent figures have over public opinion and the potential repercussions of their words. It will be interesting to watch how contenders from both major parties handle the complicated subject of immigration, which is still a contentious issue for many American voters, as the 2024 presidential contest heats up. Although the exact effects of Trump's rhetoric on the political climate and voter emotion are still unknown, it is certain that his remarks have a big impact on the national dialogue. Trump's future engagement in NATO and foreign policy is becoming less predictable due to the 4 outstanding criminal indictments that could result in his imprisonment. There are several alleged offenses included in these indictments. The alleged offenses included in these indictments have raised doubts about Trump's chances of winning the 2024 presidential contest. How do you feel about this topic? Kindly share your thoughts, and let's have a discussion in the comments. Trump has remained a key member of the Republican Party and continues to shape its agenda in spite of these legal challenges. If Trump wins the Republican nomination and the presidency, these indictments will have a substantial impact on his capacity to run for office and possibly win. His legal issues may present previously unheard of difficulties. For the efficiency of his government's rule. The indictments also make one wonder about the moral and legal repercussions of a sitting president facing criminal accusations. The relationship between Trump's foreign policy views, especially with regard to NATO, and his legal troubles complicates an already difficult political environment. His legal situation, the changing dynamics within the Republican Party, and the larger international community may all have an impact on his position on NATO and other foreign policy issues. The Republican Party must overcome these obstacles as the 2024 presidential election draws near while staying true to its core values and the interests of the American people as a whole. The party's backing for Trump despite his legal issues and its position on NATO foreign policy will be crucial elements in determining its approach and chances in the next election. As the party struggles with Trump's candidacy, the path to the Republican nomination is fraught with uncertainty. Due to their enduring importance and the rise of fresh voices, the caucuses in Iowa often serve as a predictor of the primary season, potentially indicating changes in the party's dynamics and the attitudes of voters. The emphasis will move to South Carolina, Nevada, and New Hampshire as the main season goes on. Everyone has a distinct political environment. These states will be crucial in deciding the candidate's momentum, particularly for Trump, whose polarizing leadership style and legal woes have split party sentiment. The election of 2024 will be more than just a gauge of Trump's political tenacity. Additionally, the Republican Party's identity and course in the wake of Trump will be examined. The party stands at a crossroads, needing to choose between Trump's populist appeal and the potential fresh direction offered by other rivals, including candidates like DeSantis and Haley in the race. The primaries will serve as a litmus test for Trump's political viability as he continues to energize his supporters with vows to restore America to greatness. Next up, the caucuses and primaries, amid legal challenges and a shifting Republican attitude. The caucuses and primaries are not only contests for the nomination, but also mirror the shifting currents in American politics. The July National Convention, where all 50 states will distribute their allotment of delegates, is expected to face numerous obstacles. The convention will heavily influence the selection of the party's nominee for the 2024 presidential contest. What are your opinions about the changing Republican Party landscape? Even though it's unclear how these lawsuits will turn out, they could have a big impact on Trump's campaign and the political environment. The Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity and responsibility may establish a precedent that will affect not only Trump but also presidents to come. The Supreme Court faces difficult decisions in light of Trump's particular legal circumstances. The court must resolve complicated constitutional issues while being well aware of the possible political fallout from its decisions. Upholding Trump's claim of immunity might have far-reaching effects on the U.S. government's power structure and the rule of law. However, a decision against Trump might pave the way for legal action against a former president. This is one of the most significant circumstances in American history. Aiming to postpone any potential legal repercussions until after the 2024 election, Trump's legal team is currently attempting to postpone the trials. With this plan, Trump could be able to run for president without having to worry about facing legal action right away. The matter of sensitive documents complicates Trump's legal issues, even if the shadow of these cases would probably remain over his campaign. It emphasizes the seriousness and scope of the legal challenges he confronts, even if they are unrelated to the election fraud case. These instances push the boundaries of presidential authority and responsibility, potentially changing how these ideas are understood in American politics. The public and political analysts are waiting for rulings that could have far-reaching effects while the Supreme Court deliberates. These decisions will not only impact Trump's political prospects but also set a precedent for how previous presidents are treated by the legal system, which is crucial for the survival of American democracy. How do you feel about this topic? Kindly share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. Let's have a discussion. The arguments were rather succinct, especially those of Elaine Nyahaba, Trump's attorney. They nevertheless emphasized the intricacy and significant risks involved. Hubbard's defense approach in these court cases has been closely examined for its efficacy and implications for Trump's wider legal problems. The Supreme Court's rulings on these matters have the potential to change not only the legal but also the political environment. Should the court find against Trump about presidential immunity, it may establish a new standard that applies to former presidents. Former presidents should be held responsible for the decisions made while in office. This ruling may pave the way for future legal action against President Trump and other presidents. However, if the court rules in favor of Trump, it may severely restrict the range of federal cases brought against former presidents, casting doubt on legality and accountability at the highest echelons of government. The double jeopardy clause debate is also very important when it comes to the boundaries of impeachment and what happens to former presidents. Apart from the federal cases, Trump's legal issues in Georgia and New York compound the intricacy of his circumstances. Regardless of the Supreme Court's decisions, these state-level cases, which are not under the jurisdiction of the federal judiciary, may continue. These state-level cases, which are not under the jurisdiction of the federal judiciary, may continue, further exacerbating the legal and political challenges facing Trump. It's also noteworthy how quickly the Supreme Court is addressing these matters. The court, which is often renowned for moving slowly, appears to have recognized the importance of the cases and their potential impact based on its prompt action. The swift progression through the court system is indicative of the distinct circumstances and significant public interest surrounding these legal disputes. They affect not simply Trump's own destiny but also the larger ideas of justice, presidential responsibility, and the distribution of power in American democracy. In the interim, the resolution of these cases has the potential to change the course of American politics and establish new guidelines for the conduct of presidents and legal responsibility. If you felt this video was enlightening, please let us know in the comments section below. Give us the go-ahead. People are questioning who originated the rumor and why on social media platforms as they await the outcome of Donald Trump's civil fraud trial. We will explain everything to you in this video, but first, if you are new to my channel, please spend a minute subscribing below and turning on the notification bell so that you can receive our September updates. Judge Arthur Enger granted partial summary judgment in the case filed by a New York lawyer. Letitia James ruled that fraud had been committed by Trump and Trump Organization executives. He asserted that Trump artificially inflated the worth of his holdings to secure better conditions from lenders and insurance providers. The trial's remaining stages will determine the Republicans' agreed-upon damages and the sentencing for the remaining 6 charges, which include conspiracy, insurance fraud, and fabricating company records. He was angry and hurt throughout his Wednesday final testimony. The court is expected to announce a ruling the following month after the 10-week trial. However, a tiny fire started 4 hours after the trial concluded, creating even more drama. 2 court officials, who spoke with Business Insider, claimed that after lighting documents on fire at the state Supreme Court in Lower Manhattan, a guy triggered a fire extinguisher, which caused everyone to evacuate. Authorities arrested an anonymous male who is not a court employee. The identity of the firestarter and their motivations remain unknown. The Daily Mail reported that 17 people suffered injuries. Al Baker, a spokesman for the state's court system, told the outlet that preliminary information suggests that at around 4:15 p.m. today, a person used a fire extinguisher on the 4th floor of 60 Center Street to put out a fire he had started. The fire department from New York City arrived. The fire department from New York City evacuated the courthouse's 3 floors. There were no reports of significant injuries. Authorities are holding the man on ex parte orders while they investigate the event. The man used to be active on social media, specifically Twitter. Democratic supporter John Westergren wrote that someone was wondering who ignited the fire. This, in my opinion, is only the beginning. There will be additional civil turmoil. Another individual ignited a different causal pleas, resulting in a fire. Trump's falsehoods will harm or kill someone, as we all know. There is no evidence to support that claim. Not only was the former president not present in court at the time of the fire, but he has denied any misconduct in the case. According to a recent analysis, someone is really awful at dealing with lawyers. The National Review attacked the work of several of the attorneys defending the former president from the multiple criminal and civil allegations he faces on Wednesday, saying that he shouldn't be the country's commander-in-chief and calling his client from hell. Working with Trump's lawyers, Dan McLaughlin writes, "Every time I hear his words, I feel betrayed." The persistent incapacity of individuals handling basic compliance duties for Mr. Trump must eventually impair his capacity to lead. Red-letter legal errors by Mr. Trump's attorneys, such as failing to request a jury in New York attorney Letitia James' $250 million civil fraud lawsuit and failing to raise presidential immunity in response to Eugene Carroll's $5 million civil suit, are the result of working with Mr. Trump's incompetence, which infuriated him and prompted him to lie and make accusations, claims McLaughlin. On Wednesday, the New York Court of Appeals decided that Trump would forfeit his right to an immunity defense if he did not act sooner, bringing Carroll's defamation lawsuit's shortcomings back to haunt him. Ultimately, McLaughlin stated, Trump is receiving the poor legal representation he deserves as a result of the exodus of competent attorneys. In order to avoid being co-defendants in his election meddling cases, other people have accepted plea agreements. Defamation cases totaling $43 million have garnered national attention. When McLaughlin looks at the job that Trump will play in 2024, that of U.S. president, he finds that this aspect of Trump becomes problematic. Head of state. According to McLaughlin, the presidency is a leadership position. Apart from the words that presidents say or the things that they tweet with their thumbs, it was precisely this kind of behavior that initially led to Trump's lawsuit. Presidents accomplish the majority of their work through others. Could you please ask her opinion on this? Also, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you seeing.